Feed me.
Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. The Ryback Show starts now.
Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy Ryback. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Streaming live over on TikTok and Instagram and TikTok, the big guy Ryback 22. So thank you guys very much for joining me. We are rapidly approaching 3.3 million followers. The account on TikTok has been performing good this month after I had to send another thing after they had it restricted over, I think it was over 5 or 6 weeks they had it where nothing was, and they fixed it. They don't get back to me, they just fix it. And my account is up like 800% month over month with everything going from very little views to millions upon millions of views once again. So thank you guys for everyone of the love and support over on TikTok with that. Streaming live, Ryback TV. Streaming live, Ryback TV. Odd voice change there. The Twitch at Ryback Rules and Twitter at Ryback. This podcast is available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you've got a moment to leave an iTunes review, I say thank you in advance. A sip of coffee for the big guy. This podcast is brought to you guys by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors. Vegan friendly for he, she, and thee. On feedmemore.com, you can save 20% just by listening and watching this show with discount code RybackShow20, RybackShow20 on feedmemore.com. And all this month, I am giving you guys a free bottle of our premium brain feed memory and focus support formula. Just all you got to do is order stuff off the website, select it as your free gift, and it's my gift to you guys for ordering the best supplements on the planet. And I think you guys are really going to like it. The teacrine in the brain feed helps enhance like things like caffeine and makes it more effective and gives you a clean energy that's different than caffeine. And brain feed has no caffeine in it by itself. So if you're caffeine sensitive, you could still take brain feed with no issues whatsoever. All right. We're going to try to do a little longer show today since we're doing the one a week right now with the way everything is on that. So I'll try to hopefully maybe do an hour and a half. I don't know if I have 2 hours in me. We'll see. That's a really long show. And, but I like answering your guys' questions. There's been a lot going on since our last show last week. In the world of wrestling, Braun Strowman's back, the CM Punk debacle with everything. And what else is there? There's a lot. There's and I will say to catch all of you guys up, the loyal Rybackers out there, everything going on with me in WWE, which I talk about. I have a new feeding time video with the new Panda Express Beyond Orange Chicken. They have the new plant-based Beyond Orange Chicken. That video will be dropping Monday morning at 9 a.m. So check the channel for that, because as we know, the YouTube notifications aren't too good, even despite approaching 405,000 followers, but having the views of somebody with 5,000. But it is what it is until all this whole mess is up. And it's illegal, it's corrupt, and I can't stress that enough. But we just continue the hungry, keep pushing forward, and we do not stop. But WWE, to give you a brief, quick rundown without, again, saying too much, but just to kind of, a lot of people always know, and you're going to see, we'll get the questions again, always on this, and I just will direct people to watch the beginning of this. Nothing is happening until all of this is over, and they chose when they asked, they reached out and they said the new leadership wants to repair the relationship, in which they were ready, they said, to offer a settlement after we'd had all the settlements with the old crew with Vince, and that we could not come to an agreement, right? And they asked for a 30-day extension, and I decided, after saying there would be no more extensions, but based off of what I've seen and heard from people I know, I go, okay, we'll give them one opportunity to see if they are going to be serious about this. And they came back with the same old games. They literally resubmitted the same settlement that we had denied, and I wrote a statement to Hunter, Stephanie, and Nick Khan through my attorney, and had that given to them, and then proceeding now with the deposition to get a deposition date in which the WWE attorney had the balls to then ask for a 2-week extension so he can get married. You want to know what I told them? Hell no. I'm doing you a favor, buddy. So I hope to God that POS has to move his wedding date, because they're all out. They can't delay anymore with it. So we have to set the date, because they've dragged their feet so much. But the attorney had the nerve to ask for a 2-week extension after wasting another 30 days of my time and my attorney's time, right? In fees and all the other BS, and ask for a 2-week. Hey, yeah, we know we're not, but can we have 2 weeks so I can get married? Absolutely not. You can't. You know what you could do? You can actually agree to my settlement terms, and then you can go get married. Then you don't have to worry about anything. So that's where we're at with everything. I'll move forward with the deposition. We'll get that date. I'll smoke them on the deposition. They don't even have anyone that could give a deposition on their side. Everyone's been fired that's involved in my case, which Hunter would probably be the only one that can, who's clueless about so much as it is with all of this. And we'll see what happens. But I would want nothing else, and I told them, and I can tell you a brief little thing. I told them, I go, yeah, the relationship repair is on your end. You guys are the ones that have done all this, especially like social media stuff, with how corrupt and evil this is. Whether you're directly involved or not, you are a part of this, whether you want to be or not. And I go, yeah, you got to right all the wrongs of the past. That's how the relationship is repaired. It's not me trusting the company that has stabbed me in the back multiple times so that you can go make a bunch of money with me again. No. And I made that very clear to them. I go, hey, I'm more than willing to repair the relationship. You meet my financial number, relationship repaired. And then we can go ahead and talk business, and we can work things out possibly on repairing the relationship for the future with that, right? I'm not some mark that's like, oh yeah, I want to be on your TV show. No. And I told them, I go, this will either fix the relationship, or I will know very clearly where you stand, and I will simply use this as motivation for when I do return, and we will have no relationship for the remainder of all of our lives, ever. I will have nothing to do with so the ball is in their court to make this situation right, not me. I'm more than, you guys follow, with this. I go, but what has been done to try to hurt me and my family? You guys need to make this right now, on top of all the other BS. Sorry about that, knocking the laptop. But so that's where things stand. And I would want nothing more than to quote unquote repair the relationship with that. But yeah, you got to right the wrongs of the past. And I've said that from the beginning, and everything you guys have seen, everything I've ever talked about on here, even if it takes years for some of you to realize that it's true, it all comes true with it. And so that's the fun part for this for me. It's like, I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. I'm me. I give you my truth, and my truth is the truth. It's because I'm just giving facts of things that have happened. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not gonna, after everything that I've talked about in so many different details with all this, you just can't go back and be like, oh yeah, let me agree to these really horrible terms here so that we can quote unquote repair the relationship and potentially do business together. No, you want to do business together, you pay that settlement amount, and that's the game. That's it. If not, there's no business being done. So we'll see if they have a heart and they want to do the right thing, and they genuinely want to make fans happy and do things. To the most followed pro wrestler on TikTok despite their restrictions. Nobody's even close to me other than The Rock, who's killing it. But it is what it is. All right, let's get I like the $1 million man laugh. Thank you. Super chats are brought up on the screen as well, guys, here on Ryback TV. Highly encourage the big guys Starbucks coffee money. Built like a bag of milk. Thank you for the super chat. Hope you're keeping well, big guy. Fantastic. It's a gloomy, rainy day here in Vegas, and I love it. I love it. I love the rain. I just love the raindrops coming down on my bald skull. Man, pat by the pool in the rain. In my whitey tighties. Took my wife to see her sister. I told her I'm staying in the car watching Ryback. Her sister sucks. Thank you very much. I'm sure her sister's not going to be too fond of me. Hello, hello. Get to your questions here, guys. All right, let's just kick it off. We'll give them the questions. What is your opinion on the CM Punk AEW drama? Well, I watched all of that unfold, as did all of you, I'm sure. And I've spoke honestly and openly about all of this, and I know the facts and the truth of everything, and I know how that person is, and I wanted to believe, and I'm hoping. I think that even in this huge negative with what happened, and we're going to get into details of this, and because there's so many different things with this, that I think this could be the best thing ever for AEW if everyone involved is willing to play ball and do good business. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, and I don't think that's going to happen because of Punk, because I know how he is. And what I believe, and this is how I know what he did, I'm going to explain this. I know how he is mentally. He got hurt again. He knew when you tear something, he tore his triceps. He knew going into that press conference, he got hurt again. And I know, based off of my experience with wrestling and working him and working everybody else in my career and not hurting people, despite what some of you want to believe or think, that he mentally, when he is hurt and he gets hurt, he looks for a way out. He can't accept that he failed or he got hurt or it was because of him. So he looks for excuses to put all his problems onto everybody else. Oh, he was too rough. Hangman Page is all of a sudden too rough. Hangman Page is too rough. He's hurt. And he's fragile, and he's been fragile for a very, 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 very long time. And that is just the honest to God's truth. Now, and karma works itself out in very, very strange ways and sometimes takes quite a bit of time. And I find it ironic that he was upset because of the EVPs are spreading lies about him, which is exactly what he has done to numerous people, myself included, and did a hell of a job at doing it. And it's ironic that has all come full circle, and he is getting a taste of his own medicine. He would put out lies to dirt. He's been doing this his whole career before he ever made it to WWE. He's one of them. And it's so beautiful to see I think finally, and more wrestlers are seeing that this guy was the poison, this guy was the problem. Right? On it. And I've known it all along. And everyone in WWE that knows. Now everybody else is starting to see it. And that said, though, I do believe that there is tremendous value in Team Elite, in Team Punk, or whatever you want to call that, where sides are being drawn. And I think Tony Khan 100% should be involved on TV. Does he side with his EVPs or does he side with Punk? And I think that is a tremendous storyline that could run for a couple years. And I think if they were smart with this and everyone could play ball with this, right? And this could be the new version, and I don't want to, I'm just using it because it was with how successful the NWO was. This is a natural problem that happened, that I am a big fan of natural problems happening and capitalize on them in wrestling. And that is the definition of being a true professional, by the way, of not liking people. And I can tell you this all day long. As much as me as Punk and I don't like him and disagree with him, I could work with him all day long because we're making money. That's the whole point of pro wrestling. And it's that creates storylines that people can really get invested in the physical acting portion of it, right? In the entertainment world of it with that. And I would love to see that if they could learn from like the NWO mistakes of going too long, and and Tony and his team can look at this and go, Jesus, this was a mess. But it's also it's the one thing people are talking about more than anything. How are we, like, it's like you don't want to not play it up. You want, but because you want to make this, you want controversy. You want people doubting Tony Khan's leadership skills. This should all play out on TV. It will increase their ratings. Tony, the madman, what side is he on? He's losing control of his talent and his business. I think you take that controversy, that chaos, and you put it onto your scripted television show every single week, and you let people side and believe what they're going to believe. And that is how you draw money and make money, and their ratings will improve if they can do this successfully. And everyone understands that it is a team effort. And the one thing I would say is you just simply know what your out is going to be. What is the end goal of this storyline? What is it going to be? It's learn from the NWO stuff of going too long, right? No, just like what's our out going to be, and then get back in get back on track. And what's the future going to be after that, right? But this could be a 2-year storyline, a 1.5-year storyline of chaos of people, and I think it could be a very, very positive thing for the organization. That's from that standpoint. But from what it looks like in everything, it looks like it was it's unfortunate things happen, but I know how he is, and it is and people, he is a shit disturber. He's been a shit disturber his whole career. You've heard it. Not this isn't that he would try to get the Shield guys, and Dean Ambrose and Moxley's talked about this. Me and the Shield, me and those guys get along very well. We always did really good business together. Never had one issue with any of them. And we worked each other a lot. I was with them. We did main events all over the world for a good period of time at numerous points of our careers, and wrestling them individually at numerous points. More so Seth and Dean and Roman, more just with the Shield with that. But wrestling them at multiple points throughout the career in main events and different things, night in, night out with that. And Punk would try to get them to not like me and say that I was going to do this and do that. And Dean knew it was BS all along. And but that's he does that with other things. And I think it's just people are finally seeing that in that organization. And yeah, man, I think it's a chaotic, crazy situation. I'm hoping for the best though with everything. But it is. I don't think it's a coincidence. With Colt Cabana, who's, by the way, came up to me and apologized for everything many years ago of even being a part of that. And he did not know he was going to do that and go that route and whatever. But it's no coincidence that he's not on Dynamite. Punk is 100% because of that. And that's because I've seen that's the kind of petty individual that he is. He will do anything, which I've heard he's done with me, with people of still talking bad about me to try to I personally think they should get rid of him. I think if from a cancer standpoint, if he can't learn from this and play ball and realize it can't be about him every single time with that, and I just don't think that it's possible personally with it. I would love to be wrong on it, and they figure out a way and they make a bunch of money with it all. But yeah, I think it's a really crazy situation. And I just, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy that is but he was looking for a way out going into that press conference, and he's found his way out, I think, with everything. And he'll have his loyal followers that are all about him. But I think the AEW roster now and the people are finally seeing what I've known all along. And again, a lot of the reason why we had our issues is I would call him out on his BS, and he could not physically do anything to me. It drove him crazy. He knew he could not physically hurt me. He tried multiple times. He would try to hit me with his GTS and stiff me as hard as he could, and I would laugh. He knew he could physically do nothing to me and to ever hurt me with that. Ever. And it drove him wild. So what he do? He waited and went and tried to make up a bunch of lies after he leaves with it when he didn't have to be around me. Right now, I think people there are seeing what I've known all along, and what people in WWE that are there, everyone's laughing. I guarantee you, all the top people there now are laughing at all this. He's a mess. He always was a mess. And not to say that he can't do good stuff from time to time, but that's their problem now. And again, here's the other thing. And this is why when people say, oh, it's a work or this or that, you got Tony Khan. I feel horrible for Tony in this situation. You got this guy you give millions of dollars to, supposedly, sitting next to you, just burying everything in your company, including him. and just and how things are going and being ran with that. And do you think Tony wants to hear that his multi-million-dollar investment, how old and beat up and tired he is, and then goes on to bury the entire like organization? It's horrible. You don't do that, man, unless you're leaving or you're looking for an excuse to get out with it. And that's why I said again, if it created a lot of interest, there could be great money involved in that. But from the looks of it, it doesn't. Punk's out 6 to 9 months. What's he going to do? Can he come back and be a leader of a group injured? I think so. I think that would be the smart play if he could do business. It would be best for everybody because you could get the best of him with his mouth and leave the rest away, right? But it's a crazy situation. Let me see here. Yeah, the Braun Strowman has returned to uh he returned on Monday Night Raw and then later on SmackDown. I believe he's going to be part of the SmackDown brand from what I saw. I did not see SmackDown last night or his involvement on the show. I saw a brief. I had SmackDown on briefly before I called it a night with everything. But I'm very happy that Braun. I think that was one thing when I talked about it. I was shocked when they released him and Bray. But obviously, I think there were things going on, and I don't know. I'd heard, and again, you never know how much truth is in anything. But he'd signed for a pretty big deal. And what they will do, and this is they release a guy for a year, and then offer less money, and they got you more willing possibly to go back, and so I would be really curious what he re-signed for with it, and I would bet it wasn't what he signed for previously, and it's a very odd thing on how, but I don't know that for sure. Maybe I could be completely wrong on that, by the way. That's just me knowing how things work with all of that. But as long as he's happy, that's all that matters. And I hope he got a great deal to go back. I'm sure it's still good money regardless. And we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out with that. But I did see his return, and I was very happy because I even said when I saw CM Punk's return, I was happy that he got that moment, despite because he was out 7 years. Ironically, it's like I've been out 6 plus, wrestled for a few years after, but off of TV for that long, and I can imagine that would feel really really cool and really good. So like I can set aside differences and realize the moment, and but like Braun, me and Braun have always gotten along well. I've wrestled him when he was part of the Wyatt family on tech live events and TV pay per view too. We've done some stuff together, not a lot, but we've worked together enough. Always really easy and got along really well. And that was him earlier on in his development too. And he's improved tremendously. And as anyone, he's worked really hard, and he's accomplished really cool things there and gotten to play really cool roles. And I've talked about it in the past. I thought they missed out when he was red hot, not putting the title on him when he was red hot. And it's not quite the same when you do it when you're not as hot, but you're still playing the role of a champion, right? Is a cool thing. It's something that you want to strive to play that role when you get into wrestling. So I'm happy for him that he got. You could tell, I could see, I was like, it was. I'm sure it was emotional for him and stuff because it's the greatest thing in the world getting to come out there and play a role and get cheered or get booed. Specifically when you're getting cheered and people are happy, it's a really cool feeling. And I've been blessed to play that role in different times and in capacities, and arenas shaking, going crazy for you. It's not something that majority of human beings get to experience, and so I'm happy he was really really over still, as he's always been, and I hope they can capitalize on it and get him involved in some really good storylines, and get him back in the mix, which I have no doubt they're gonna. He's an attraction, and there's not a lot of human beings like him on the planet that could do pro wrestling, right? So I'm happy, very very happy, and I know he had a little trip up on doing the run. Things happen, people, and I thought he played that off well, and I saw some people on the old positive Twitter with it. Like it was like, mistakes happen all the time in wrestling and like everybody. Brock has fallen down trying to F5 Big Show, by the way. Literally fell down. And I don't like it doesn't mean like everyone. You can go through any wrestler, like anything they do, there's going to be moments where things don't go exactly as planned, and that's the great cool thing with wrestling, and you just improvise and act and react, and you know so I don't think that I know his views on YouTube for his return are getting really really good numbers, and as they do, because he appeals to more than just your wrestling fans, people, everyday regular people, and people he's known in different industries, and powerlifting, and in the health and fitness industry to a degree, where people, he has appeal in that, and I think that's really important to have guys like that, and he knows how to play his character very very well, and I think he can continue. I think that he can continue to get better and better, and that's on him on how invested he is on that side of things. But I've always enjoyed watching him, and like I said, from the time that he came up, and I think he's gotten himself in great shape. He's dropped some of the extra weight, which was just a hindrance to, especially he can move and he can go, and so dropping some of that the body fat over the years, I think is done well. No doubt has probably helped his knees and back and joints, and that load from being a heavy guy, right? So I think it's good for WWE and for Braun that he is back. What do I think about Andrew Tate? Uh, No, and I will. So the McDonald's $3,500 challenge video, I deleted that, buddy. I believe I deleted that. It shouldn't, even if it's private. I don't think it was healthy eating that amount of food, and I don't want to. And that's what I took it down the Sour Patch Kids, because I don't want young people or adults trying to replicate what I did on those, and eating the large, super large amounts of food or a thing of something I'm staying away from, and haven't done in a long time with that. That's why I took those down. And I'm probably going to take down a couple more at some point. Um, because I don't, it's not about the whatever the revenue or any of that. It's just more, I go, and it was fun. People see that, they don't understand it's a once in here and there occasion, but it was just so unhealthy. And I remember I was shaking, and there's so much sodium in that. There's just so many things that aren't healthy. Even though it's a video, and I just thought it wasn't. I didn't feel good about it, so I took it down. My thoughts on Andrew Tate. I've seen a lot of his clips. I see a lot of things he says that I think is positive information for people. And then I know he does say some things that can be maybe perceived in a very negative way. And then the great thing about it is, I've seen videos where I heard something about him talk, and I just stopped listening to it. I go, I don't really necessarily agree with that one. And I don't stop, and I don't watch it all. I don't comment this, or I don't ask for him to be canceled or anything. And I've seen other videos that he says gives a really good piece of advice, and I might put hashtag hungry or 100, whatever. I agree with that comment. You know what I mean with that? And that's the thing about, social media. It's our choice. Getting upset over stuff on social media is like seeing a piece of dog shit in the street and choosing to step in it and get upset. You can just walk around it, right? That's social media. You're choosing to stop and get angry over something, rather than, and the people do it all the time. Stop posting, stop doing this, stop, brother. Maybe just don't come to my profile. Hey, block me. Block me. You don't have to ever hear or see me unless somebody posts something, right? That's the beautiful thing about it. And I'll never discourage anyone from having their opinion, and posting their truth and their lives and what they believe in based off their life experience. Doesn't mean you agree with everything that everyone says, and then it doesn't also mean that they're a bad person or this and that. I don't know the guy. I don't know him. And I don't tend to try to form opinions on someone unless I actually have met or have some sort of interaction or understanding of them better now. And I don't know, like I said, if there's an investigation and there's things going on that we're not privy to. I don't know with all of it. But I'm just kind of sitting back, and we're going to see what happens. And I would guess, if long as he's not doing anything illegal, that hopefully he gets his accounts reinstated. And as someone, and I speak from someone who's had his accounts restricted since 2016. It is it's not a fun situation. All right, and no one deserves that. No one. It's not right. It's not right. Somebody says social media is toxic. It can be. It can also be an amazing, beautiful place where people come together and share ideas and learn and grow and laugh and have entertainment and humor and uh, right. And you can meet a lot of really cool, great people. We could do this show, talk to you guys, answer your questions. Positive show, I would say. I don't think there's too many negatives with that. I get to meet people, see that I don't people get to see me that since I'm not on TV with that and I get to still be interacting with people that genuinely are interested in my life and my business and would feed me more nutrition and everything that I'm doing, right? So I think a lot of it comes down to who you following, what are you and what do you stop? What are you choosing to stop in? You know, if you fight like Twitter, and Twitter, I think is a very highly negative place. Typically, the things that are trending on Twitter tend to be very negative, right? So what do I do? I don't use that platform as much. I post my thoughts, I put my content out, and I try to stay away from getting caught up in all the BS, right? Because it doesn't serve me, and that's an individual choice that we all have to make. But if you sit on there and just decide to get caught up in all the negativity, man, there's a whole world of out there of negativity. A lot of people out there you can get caught up in their problems and let their problems become your problems. Man, that's not a fun way to live life. So the choice is ours, man. If you live in the real world, you surround yourself with good people, you can have brother, social media it can be amazing if you use it for the right things. I get shown videos of cats and dogs playing with each other, showed videos of funny things that make me laugh, hot chicks. Like social media is great on that, but also in that you could also get really, really caught up in a lot if you hang out in the comments or this and that, right? You just got to know who you are and try to control your environment, protect your bubble at all cost. Hello, hello. Smokey, I don't really have any interest of talking about scar tissue. Kenny says, "What do I think about the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and what happened and in general?" I don't have any experience around those guys personally. I've never had any issue with anything, and I think it's a difficult position to be in and to be an active wrestler and to also be EVPs of a company. I do personally think that I think there's in this situation that as negative as it can possibly be or is, that Tony Khan can look at this and really make some really cool positive changes and improvements where and he's learning. This is, there's going to be stuff that happens. Like fights backstage in wrestling are like nothing new. I think this situation's a little different because three of the guys involved are the EVPs, right? Um, and I just know how Phil is, and he's a very difficult person to be around most of the time, and he's a shit disturber. So I understand their frustrations very very well. Um, I think it would be beneficial if the company could, and I don't again not there. And this is from the outside looking in. That maybe not having them as EVPs is more beneficial to the company at this point if they could find people to fill those roles that understand wrestling, right? That are not currently active wrestlers. I do think that is and those guys could maybe have involvement still and even be compensated to a degree. And because I don't want anyone to ever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the compensation is for the EVP roles and being an active talent and performer. So I don't want to ever see anyone like lose money or anything. But I do think that maybe they're in a very difficult spot of being EVPs and also being active members of the roster that it would serve in the company's best interest and AEW's best interest to maybe not have active talent as EVPs. What was maybe necessary 3 years ago or 2 years ago or however long it's been since they launched, you've got a lot more people there now. You've got a lot more big names there now. You're more established. Maybe this is a very this situation can result in a lot of positives of Tony learning and getting things tightened up a little bit with all of it. But I hope they, like I said, that they could make money with all this. And I don't. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I just know how one person is, and based off what I know how that one person is, I tend to believe that those guys, the EVPs, I don't believe they instigated or were the ones that sought out to like make this situation what it was. I think that was his doing. And I talked about that just earlier on the show on why I think he did that, looking for a way out. Let me see. If I missed a super chat, I apologize. Do I feel if CM Punk leaves AEW, fans will never forgive him? And do you think Hunter may bring back EC3? I don't know. I don't know. He has a very hardcore fan base that, and like I said, he that will believe him at all cost, and he will no doubt try to paint himself as a victim. No doubt. That's what he does best. And but I think there's a lot of people that have finally woken up to the BS personally. But that won't be everybody. Super chat from Silva Surfer. Thank you for showing. Yeah, I missed a super chat. Ryback, what are your thoughts on Mark Henry? I have no thoughts about Mark Henry. Thank you. Moving on. So this is a good Ryback. You hate the marks, but it's the marks that send you super chats. LOL. No, so my definition of a mark though is a negative, toxic, quote unquote fan. People that spread hate, negativity, that are super obsessed with wrestling. I call good wrestling fans are fans that are. You can be obsessed with wrestling and be a positive person, and you're a fan. You just are super obsessed with wrestling. I don't consider those marks. Marks, I believe, are the negative people, the people that spread hate and negativity. And I have people that follow me that if I see they're spreading hate, I block them, even if it's not at me. I don't want that person. I don't want to know who that person is. I have no interest in them. But, and you say the word hate, I don't hate genuinely. Like, I don't know these people. I stay away from toxic, negative mindsets in general in life. Right. And a lot of those, they all share the same mindset, that type of quote unquote mark. And I've talked about this countless times. That's my definition of a mark. Good fans are not marks. People that are positive, happy, that love wrestling, that don't try to tear people down in overly negative and critique things that they don't know about. Like that, there's a lot of really, really good fans out there. They're not like that. They're obsessed with wrestling, but they're not like that. Any thoughts on Johnny Gargano recently returning? No, I don't really know a lot about him. I don't know how he'll fit into the WWE main roster, and I don't know. I don't know what roles he's going to play. I know I've not watched a lot of his stuff. I don't know. Does GTS help with insomnia? I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I believe it does. Yes, it really is. Because so when you take it, and I take this most nights, and I take it about an hour before I go to bed. The GTS go to sleep that we have by Feed Me More Nutrition. When you're tired and you need to go to sleep, your brain isn't worried about anything, and that's how this makes me feel. Like when I need to go to sleep and lie down, I don't worry about a thing. I'm tired and I know I'm going to bed. I find it very peaceful and relaxing taking it every night. I look forward to it, and I think it's a great thing for people that have a lot of nighttime bad habits, whether that be eating habits or drinking habits and alcohol. I think GTS could be a real lifesaver for a lot of people on that, because you take it, and you just go to bed. you take it, and within that hour, like you just need to go to bed. You just feel this urge that you need to sleep, and it's not like this. It comes in like this very. It's not like all of a sudden just bam, like you're drugged and like it's like just a very natural, good feeling of like you've like spent all your energy and you're just tired and need to go to bed with it. And I'm out every single time. I put my head down on the pillow. I say thank you for a few things every time, and I'm out. Like it is. It's not like, not to say that it can't take longer for different people, but it's and we. The people in the reviews I've seen, the people that love it, it helps, and I believe it is very good for insomnia. I think it's worth a shot. If you're muscle soreness, the Finish It BCAA and electrolyte matrix is really good for muscle soreness and recovery. Uh, you say what Ryback? What wrestler in history do you have the most respect for? For me, it's Harley Race. I actually met Harley Race multiple times. He was very good to me. He was always, and he brought me in for one of his last shows, and I've got a picture with me and him, and he passed away shortly thereafter. After that, and I was always very thankful that him and his wife were very good to me, and I wish I could have been healthy and wrestled for him, and but it was he's a good one, man. Somebody says, I don't know why people are negative to you. You're a chill dude and a beast. Thank you. It's typically the way that it works. People that are able to get attention, or this people, um, and I've again talked pretty openly about the WWE stuff. When there's a lot of hate and negative things and fake things that are out there, people people ju- that want to believe and get obsessed over things, right? And so I've just I always people that know and follow me and watch me. It is you know the deal, and if not, then But anybody who's ever doing anything in life, all the greats are people that do things that get attention and that are known. They're massively loved and they're massively hated, right? And that's all I just tell people. That's why. But I think if you watch and know, you go, okay, some of this stuff is just pretty ridiculous of what like the hate, and I just block it out and keep being me. And I look forward to when I'm not restricted and can have a much broader reach outside of TikTok on everything. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Have I heard the song "Shell Shocked"? Yes, I have it on my phone. It's was one of the songs in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe. Knock knock, you're about to get shell shocked. Yeah, that is a good song. That wouldn't be a bad theme song. I like spicy and mild salsa. But not like anything like I like spicy foods in general. I've done the hottest foods on the planet. I just don't want to eat something that's going to put my stomach in knots and have flames coming out of my arsehole, as Seamus would say. Do I like protein bars? Not a big fan of all that stuff. I don't. I think a lot of the people I know that tend to rely on those things tend to have a little more poor eating habits and think they're doing a lot really good. That said, I do think they can be beneficial if you're traveling in a pinch and just need something. I would always carry the Quest ones when I was wrestling. I would always have like a case of those in my bag and I wouldn't. There would be weeks I didn't eat them. Then there'd be weeks that I'd have to have a couple of them with that. But I always that was traveling, right? And I thought those offered the most nutrition compared to a lot of the others. I haven't had them in years now that I'm home, but I will occasionally. Once a week, I'll usually get at the gas station these Lenny and Larry's, or the gym has them too. It depends. Wherever I see them, I'll usually buy one or two of the Lenny and Larry's, the vegan protein cookies on my carb day, and I like the macadamia nut and the chocolate chip, and I'll usually have two of those on my higher carb day on Fridays. I had them yesterday. I had two of them. They were delicious with it, and but not typically that stuff. I wouldn't advise people relying on those things like on an everyday thing, and there's better options for sure. That's right. UFC is tonight. I probably will be ordering this UFC pay-per-view. I'm really interested in seeing a couple of these fights now. Um, I'm going to wait and see. I haven't 100% committed that I'm going to buy it, but I am leaning towards getting it. We got Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson. And then we've got Kevin Holland and Chimaev, which Chimaev missed weight by like 7.5 or 8 pounds with a smile on his face. I don't know what the deal is. I think though, whatever it is, and I don't know how you miss weight by that much unless it was intentional, and I think I just don't know, and I don't know what's going on. But I know him and Holland had an altercation. I think the night before, or a couple nights before. Was it Thursday? So it's almost as if like it was like was this a game plan all along of like, hey, Dana White seeing that there's more opportunity in this fight with guys that have a legitimate beef and play that up, and that's why you just okay, stop. I'm not going to cut the remaining weight, and that's what it seems because being that heavy days before or day before is not uncommon for guys. They do the sauna, fast and water restriction at various points. You drop that weight pretty quick. Like it's not. There's guys that have done ridiculous weight cuts, much more, and so that's why I go. I wonder if there was something else for that where Dana saw an opportunity to maybe switch the card up, and I don't know based off the altercation, but whatever it is, it seems like they made the most of a bad situation, right, with it, and I'm interested in seeing those two fights. Hello, hello. Ryback, if you were Tony Khan just running AEW, would you fire anyone, suspend everyone, or do what Tony did and take away the titles? And what's your thoughts on Punk's injury? We just talked about all of that on the Punk's injury on the beginning of the show if you want to watch on all that. And we'll see how everything plays out. Silva Surfer. Hey, Ryback, I'm sorry for asking that question, but I'm feeling kind of depressed lately. So how do you deal with depression? Well, everyone gets depressed and sad and down at different times, depending on life. And the number one thing, and we've had videos and different things I've talked about in the past, is movement. You keep moving. That is when you freeze and you stop moving, is when everything amplifies. So whether it's going out and being active, going to the gym, I firmly believe that working out is one of the best things that people can do for their mental health. When you go and physically exhaust yourself through weight training and cardio and conditioning, one, you feel better and you improve your looks, your self-esteem is going to rise. But the endorphins that you get doing that make you feel good for the entire day, which is one of the most addictive things, reasons why people do it. And then on top of it, you chase goals and you want to get bigger muscles or get leaner. You get a 6-pack or an 8-pack or whatever, 4-pack, whatever it is you got, right? And so movement. I think having good conversation with somebody that you know and that makes you feel good. I think having positive interactions and surrounding yourself with the right people. And if you don't have that, I think learning and listening to the audio books on self-improvement and mindset and positive thinking, I think everything in life takes work. So, but if you sit around and just do nothing and I'm depressed, well, you're just going to get more depressed. And then that's where if you just I'm going to just go on social media, you're going to get more depressed. got to live your life. You got to start doing stuff. You got to have a little organization. You got to get out, keep moving. The basic lesson in all of it is keep moving. Okay. And that is the best piece of advice I could give you on that. All right, let's see here. Going through. What's the weirdest food you've ever tried? Well, I've eaten bugs on Ryback TV. I did dried bugs before. Dried like they were crickets, and I don't know crickets. I don't. Was there? I did. It's on my Ryback TV. I ate bugs once. That's probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten, and they weren't horrible. I don't know if they were. I did chocolate covered bugs, and then I think I did ones that were not that were just dehydrated, and yeah, never again. But I did it. Smoky Bacon Mix says you was right about Punk all along. And I've told you guys, and again, the one thing that people want to will go back to is, oh, you dropped him uh, through a table on concrete, and go, oh, you missed the table. And I go, the one lie he told on all that was that he failed to tell people that I dropped him on padding. And that's how I knew. I go, he will say things and alter things to try to make him the victim, and like, but he makes excuses for people when he's hurt to try to blame other people rather than saying, "Oh, he's hurt." And he was hurt our entire run, not from me. He was hurt well before we ever touched with it, and he looks for ways out to make it people so it's not him, where he'll bury other people to try to protect himself. And now I think he's just getting it. He's karma's worked itself out. It's a beautiful thing, and you guys are all seeing that play out. I've said it all along. You're not going to find a thing that I've said all along on anything that I've been wrong on, and it is not to say that I can't be, but I'm talking about things that I'm involved in, and I know 100% what the deal is on it. So it is what it is. TLA Mark Bannon. I don't have no answer. Stop asking the question, brother. That you don't. I'm not. Like, come up with a better question. Big guy Ryback reminds me of that moment in Happy Gilmore where there was a heckler in the crowd golfing, and Shooter McGavin's only response was, "Oh my God." Jim Ross is a legend. Yeah, I absolutely love Jim Ross as a legend. I love his commentating, and we did some stuff together in WWE briefly when he was over there. I think I came out and made the save for him when he was in the ring with CM Punk, coincidentally. Um, but yeah, me and Jim always got along. I've done his show many years ago when I left WWE. It was very positive conversation, and yeah, I like Jim a lot. I don't have there's not a stiffest wrestler I've ever. I've literally never wrestled anyone who was like, oh my god, they're so stiff. I don't have no idea, brother. I think you guys kind of maybe worry about that stuff a little more. I'm a man. I don't ever like, oh, he was too rough with me. I think you're the biggest pansy in the world if you ever say that, especially in this business. We need a Ryback post pay per view media scrum podcast. Oh, I won't talk to any of the wrestling media on any of those. My whole thing would be attacking them and them, not people, not the people that are I'm making money with. It's those I would not even. They're all blocked on my social media accounts. I block pretty much all the wrestling media. As much as I see it, I just block it. I just think that it's the lowest form of life, gossiping and lying about other people for your profit, and anything. Even the people that try to report, they're digging. It's just like the TMZ and they're the low lifes of the world. They're literally looking for gossip to try to make money and ruin other people's lives. Whether you're reporting facts or lies with it, you're a horrible human being. I would love for people to report on the reporters, go spy on the reporters, ruin their lives. That's what we need to do more of. Someone asked, besides the sodium content in most foods, how do you feel about the fat content in those foods like burgers, pizza, etc.? Um, yeah, they're all filled outside of the ridiculous amounts of sodium. Uh, Also ridiculous amounts of fats, and hey, it tastes good, right? I just think you have to be conscious and aware enough to go, okay, I'm only going to do this every once in a while. I'm not going to make this a part of my diet all the time. Or you're reasonable enough where, like a thing like a pizza. Like if I'm going to order a pizza, I want to eat the whole pizza. I'm not going to order because my diet is so strict on the days that I don't have right. I don't have my cheat meal with that I'm not gonna like look. I'm gonna go get a slice of pizza and have broccoli and a couple servings of pistachios on the side. No, I'm gonna choose something way better than a slice of pizza for that meal. But hey, if you can do that and kind of keep your macros in check, more power to you. I just think it's a bad habit of eating that kind of stuff all the time because it elicits cravings and it messes up blood sugar and all the different, just the MSG and sodium. And I just don't think it's the wisest choice all the time. But hey, once in a while, treat yourself, live life, enjoy. I go do the sauna on the days that I'm going to do a cheat meal and have more carbs or more sodium. I make sure I sweat or I do a big conditioning session with it, and that I've lost a lot of sweat and that I'm going to need a higher amount of sodium for the day anyways, where it balances out on that. It's not something I do every day, right? I think you just got to be self-aware enough to know and make consciously good decisions on your diet more often than not. But hey, live life, enjoy life a little bit, and and if you are going to have it, more than once, try not to overindulge. Have some balance and portions control. If it's going to be multiple times a week, make sure it's not ridiculous. That'd be my best piece of advice. Super chats are appreciated and brought up on the screen as well. Going to issue a shell shock there. Thank you for playing. Out of curiosity, do you consider yourself retired? Absolutely not. I've never retired. I think that is I'm coming back. I'm coming back in some way, shape, or form. This is why I'm working so hard to do that, and I've overcome so much. So, like I said, once this legal stuff is over, we're going to have a much better idea of everything on which direction things are going to go with that. But why I've never. And I think online somebody they changed it to that I retired. I never retired. That's a made up lie that something did just for clicks on it, and then it's, oh well, Ryback's retired. No, I was hurt. I needed a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. I've had 19 stem cell procedures. It's just being away. I've had all this legal issues going on for 6 years. It's just been an extended stay away, and it's only been a few years not wrestling, so I'm not overly worried with all of that. Right with it, so it's. I think people retire sometimes because they think that that's what you're supposed to do. To me, retiring, I could if I wanted attention say, hey, I'm going to come out and retire, but the goal is to come back. Well, why retire then? The goal is no, I'm not going to put that negative thought in my head that maybe I'm done for the rest of my career, and that's why I go no, I'm coming back from this. It's all a mindset. It's a hungry, positive mindset. So that's why I would have done that 3 years ago if I wanted, but I would that wouldn't be being true to myself because then I would have been putting that energy into the universe that maybe I'm done. No, it's just like it's just an extended trip away, and it's all about to be all worked out. So, um, and that's just my mindset on it. With it, some people might go, "Oh, you're not wrestling, you're retired," and I go, "What's the difference if a guy was injured on TV and was gone and hurt, but still rehabbing and doing things and having right? You wouldn't consider them retired, just not currently wrestling." Super chat, Adam Neiman, and your super chats are greatly appreciated, guys, here on this channel. I highly encourage the super chats on the YouTube Ryback TV, and it helps so that we can filter out some of the questions. What do you think about the performance so far of Rey Mysterio's son? I like Dominic Mysterio. I'm very happy. I think the heel turn will be a very beneficial thing for him from a character standpoint and getting away from being with his dad. I think what a beautiful thing and cool thing. How many people in the history of wrestling have got to, tag with their father for a good period of time now? I What a cool thing for them to have those moments together and to be on the road and traveling together. I would imagine, right? But at the same time, I'm excited for him to get out and be on his own and to start growing. And I think he's done a phenomenal job. From we saw him at a young age on TV with Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and being involved in storylines, for short periods of time, to now being a part of the main roster and being very young and very, very good. He's only going to get better, and he's got a guy who's well liked in Rey Mysterio, who no doubt is giving him golden advice in all areas of the business inside the ring. So I think that, again, the massive upside to Dominic Mysterio in the wrestling business in WWE. I would like to wrestle both Brock and Goldberg. Somebody asked, who do I want to wrestle more? I think there's a much better story with me and Goldberg uh, off the bat, but Brock has always been the one guy that I think it is a big money matchup with the right build. I like Brock a lot. I have nothing, but I love Brock. I love everything he's done and the roles that he's gotten in his contracts and how I like how he handles business. Ryback, do you consider yourself a meathead? I No, I think I think I'm probably the furthest thing from a meathead in the sense of how much I read and listen to audiobooks and learn and grow and have created a successful business. And but I love weight training but I love being healthy more than anything, and I always have with that. And but I do love lifting. I love being strong. I think I look like a meathead, no doubt. I think if people don't know me and don't listen to me speak and just judge a book from the outside without actually looking at anything inside the book, that they would go, "Oh, the title of that book is Meathead, massive meathead." But no, I don't consider myself a meathead. Let's see here. My light is really bright today. On its turn, should turn it. Go scroll down. Sorry, guys. What do I think about the awful elbow drop miss clip where the guy climbed the wall and hit the floor? Real stupid move. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that one off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy videos out there with people doing. My thing is this: like, people involved in wrestling are going to do what they're going to do. All I can control is my mindset and psychology on the business and what I've learned and in the match that I'm in and what I'm going to go do or not do with that. And the rest I've given up. Even people are going to go do what they want to do, and it is what it is. Yes, with great strength comes great responsibility with that. And it is, and with you talking about your friends being strong and being kind and not hurting people. People that are strong and big and tough, and they tend to realize that and understand that it is a responsibility that comes with that. That's why if you meet some of the strongest people in the world are some of the nicest people in the world. They already know. They already got that confidence. They know. Let's see. I have a lot of memorable wrestling matches. I enjoyed, like I said, there were a lot of really, really great moments. Would you wrestle Gunther? I think that would be an interesting match. Yeah, absolutely. I like Gunther. I need to go back and watch him and Sheamus from that clash because that was the one people were saying was really, really, really good. Um, and no doubt physical. Me and Sheamus had a lot of bangers. I would definitely Gunther. Which I'll say a video that I saw online. Gunther has to have the loudest chop I have ever heard. It sounded like gunshots multiple times, and I go, that is. I love that. Things that make a lot of noise in like in arenas and where people noise. I will always, and I'll give you a quick little thing. Like, so a lot of guys will do moves and do like backbreakers and things. I don't think backbreakers get a good reaction for what they are. And also I think there's a risk when dropping people on your with a lot of weight on your onto your joints, into your leg. And right. I always would say uh I would always do things where I want to drop the guy on the mat and get that loud bang. I want to get that loud noise. Not to say that a thing doesn't have a time and place, especially if you're working over a body part, but if I have the option, I'm doing the move that's going to make the most noise. Noise gets reactions in wrestling with people. If they can hear it, they tend to they have a sense that it hurts more. Whereas like that's why things like slaps and chops, people can hear it in moves where there's a high impact on the mat and that hard bounce and the hard and the impact. And that's what I learned that really early on. A lot of guys don't understand that, and they'll do moves that don't make a lot of noise. It's like make the noise. You want to do a move where you make as much noise as humanly possible on it. You want to with it. It is very beneficial. And not slapping noise either. Not at least not where the slap is clearly visible. If you could cover the slap as much as possible, okay, and it makes sense where it might. But even I'm not a big fan of the over slapping though. Hey, Walter, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I've done long rest periods multiple times with my stem cells and different surgeries over the years. You've got to stay active and just train around. You got to do whatever cardio you could do and stay active as much as possible. I've done it so many times. It's like, yeah, I might lose some muscle in it, and I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to get it right back as soon as I start weight training once again. And where I like it because it makes me mentally tougher on all this stuff. And I had to do this multiple times with my stem cell procedures. There were periods I went months without actual physical weight training. 3 months, I think, multiple times, and then a couple of them were a couple months. Like, but I had 19 procedures overall, so it happened. I took quite a few breaks, especially in the first couple of years with all those stem cells. So it's but I know what I would go do cardio every single day. I'd go do the elliptical. I'd do the stairmaster. I would do things where lower body conditioning, where I was not working my shoulder or anything, right? And I think that is super important to. And I'd go to the sauna. Still, I'd go do things. Still go for my walks with my dogs every night. Stayed active, stayed active, and that's all that you could do. What can you do physically to work around with what's going on? And that's what the hungry do. You find ways to improvise and to work around, but you don't make an excuse not to be active. I'm not the video game systems. Somebody's asking, am I an Xbox or PS PlayStation? I You know what I watch? TikTok will show me these because I stop and watch. I'm really big watching the older video games that when I grew up with. I'll watch people play those for a brief period of time, and now I get shown them all the time on TikTok. But I like it because they'll show me games like that I haven't seen in forever, and I'll stop and watch somebody play for a few minutes. I got a few minutes, and it will trigger. I'm like, oh, I want to go look at. There's YouTube videos of all the games I grew up with, like that game Karate on Nintendo. It's just called Karate, I think. I used to play that. I never had that game, but my friend had it, and I used to always play that game at their house, and it brought back so many memories. Going back and watching somebody, and it popped up. I'm playing on my TikTok the other day, and then I'm like, then I remember other games. Like, oh, and then you hear those sounds like Excite Bike. I used to play Excite Bike all the time, like, and I was like, man, this is so cool. But people sell these systems with like thousands of games on them now. I'm like, I don't know how they're able to do this, and the technology of like fitting. But games were also much more simpler for the longest time, right? But they got games for Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo. I think all the way through like Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast, which I had a Dreamcast, didn't last long, but the and that was as I was getting closer to getting away from video games. But Dreamcast was one of the last systems, and obviously I got an Xbox, and I have a PS4 now that I just use to watch the UFC fights. And I did a brief stint on Twitch trying to play some games, and I just don't have the. There's just so many more important things, but I think it's great, and if you can control it, and but yeah, I'm more of an old school, like just to look for nostalgia, just to kind of bring back memories and look at some of the games I grew up playing. I remember at 007, the James Bond video game GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. I was really into that game. That game was a lot of fun. Back when Ryback played Pong and Cubert. I think I did play Q. I did play. No doubt, I played Cubert. No doubt. If you're thin, you need to eat more calories consistently every single day. Rice and beans, rice and beans, rice and beans. Black rice and black pinto or black and pinto beans combined will be your best friend in gaining weight, in good weight at that. But it's really, you can eat a lot of calories in rice and beans, and it's very nutritious, especially if you get the black rice. This is somebody, you must have worked your ass off to go from your size in NXT to your size in your debut as Ryback. Sheesh. No, brother, my size was pretty similar. Like, the weight difference wasn't drastic. I think if you go back from my weight, my body got better as Ryback with all the constant wrestling and hard conditioning up there. But my weight there was times I was like under 280 as Ryback. I'm and then I got to where I was 290, 285 to 290, and even 280, 280, 285. But usually always 285 to 290 was kind of, maybe even 291 or 292 every once, depending on. But in Nexus, in NXT, I was 280 on that. So there wasn't like this drastic difference on any. I just think, like, I don't know, different images, different videos can make you look different. So there wasn't like a drastic difference. But my training, I will say, improved, and even my conditioning of like hard conditioning and things, and learning and eating calories based off my conditioning, and like. But I will say, I think too, though, there was also a point, because I went on TRT at 28. And so there was a portion of my time wrestling that I had low testosterone. I didn't even know it. And my weight was still in that range on it. It just made me feel a lot better. But I think over time and being on that and having harder training sessions and better recovery allowed to put on a little bit better muscle quality, possibly too. No doubt, no doubt. looking at your questions. Guys, super chats are brought up on the screen so that I don't have to scroll through looking for the good stuff. The name Ryback is from Silverback and Ryan. Thus, you get Ryback. Let's see here. Hello, hello. Good to see all of you. Yes, black rice is healthier than white rice and brown rice. I'm a big fan of black rice. It's called black rice, aka forbidden rice. It's at all your grocery stores. It is very nutritious, and you can look all that up. Bully Ryback was a savage. Indeed, Bully Ryback was a savage. Would I ever consider doing an eating challenge competition in person against the Bell Life brothers? No, not. I wouldn't want to do anything of massive quantity or anything of that nature. Crazy. I just do regular the vegan plant based food videos and do the reviews and talk to you guys. And I'm not. That stuff was very short lived of doing anything too crazy. And like I said, I took down a couple of the videos that I thought were unhealthy, and because I don't want to get. That's why I've always said I've been in this for the long haul. I want to do this channel, be 120 years old, doing these weekly shows with you guys, regardless of where my life is. And right, I enjoy it with that, and it's my way of it trying to help and me also learn some stuff here. And I just think it's healthy and it's good to do this kind of stuff and not promote unhealthiness as much as possible. I do eggs. I've talked about it. Ovo vegetarian. I do eggs. I've been doing eggs for a good period of time, and I found it to be perfect for me, and to stay plant based. And every once in a while, like I said, the the dairy of like cheese, depending on something, but very rarely. And I've tried to stay away from the animal products because I just feel better, and it's not always like the world and the we live in. And if you go out and not everyone's vegan, most people, lot of people are, a lot of people aren't. There's different levels. Some people are vegetarian, but options could be limited every once in a while. And I try, I went straight vegan for 13, 14 months with nothing, and but being straight vegan and very happy, very, but it is a little more difficult. But I like the Avo vegetarian. I have no moral issue with eggs, and specifically in how I get them. But that if you have to, like, your own farm, or you get them from a good place, there's no harm being done with that. And you know what I mean? No torture, nothing. And and so I don't have and they're very beneficial, and the protein is very good. And it makes, especially too, when limiting carbs and different things, I find it to be a very uh, key protein source for me that is no carbs um, in my diet as well. And again, and I've done on a rare occasion the chicken wings, and I stay away, and I don't I love, like I've always told you guys, I love chicken wings. I love steak. I think that stuff tastes amazing. But once I know, I go, wait, I know if I eat this stuff too much or do this, that it has negative impact on my performance, cardio and conditioning and things of that nature. And then you add in the element of what of human or animal lives, and it's just a decision. I just stay away, and like, but because I'm not perfect by any means, but I try to think about that stuff on any decision. I go, well, this option will be better with that. And I look at things too, like life. Look, all of life, you get angry with the way the world is, and there's a lot of bad people, and the way that we treat animals is horrible. And but then at the same token, you could say, well, all of life, not all of life, but the majority of life from the oceans to the land kills and eats other life in some way, shape, or form or capacity, right? But being human, we have the choice, and where we actually have the research too of knowing that we thrive on a plant-based diet. So, but at the same time, it is, you do think like, well, if you lived in a certain period and you had your family and you had to go out and hunt and there weren't a lot of plant sources of nutrition around, right? Like, but that was a different time and period, and an element for survival. Does that make it mean it's right? No. But that was, what did people do before fire? Meat don't taste good eating raw animals. At least I have never, you know what I mean? So we were plant based before we ever, I would say, probably ate animals with that. But it's again, I've the more that you just try to learn and understand, and I just know that it's really beneficial to be as plant based as much as possible with it and whatnot. But I understand, and like I've said, and I've talked to different people and read a lot of different books and listened to books, and that I understand why vegan people get so angry is they're usually they love animals very in loving people, and you don't want to see the torture, but at the same time you watch a wilderness video, watch they pop up on TikTok from time to time. Look at life is, watch videos of the ocean of what goes on down there. It's like it's crazy, right? But we do have a choice, and I think it's just making a choice to try to be more loving and caring. And but I just try to protect my bubble and environment as much as possible. We're going to go ahead and knock. You're about to get shell shocked. Thank you for playing. Come back into the other account, like I'm sure you will. I always think about how amazing I every single day am fascinated with the evolution of humans and life, and we're just such a small blip in this whole thing. Man, just date back to the beginning of time. Can you imagine? But like like life, like if you look at now, we live in this information age and technology age where we're privy, we have so much access to so much. But I'm just like, how did like we get to this point? And we got to this point by just years and years and years of people and humans, of whether it's like somebody figures out one little thing and then somebody adds on to that little thing, and that little thing gets a little more and a little more and a little more, you know. But like, did we have help at some point in time? You look at through back in the past of like into like the pyramids and things like, at some point did we get a game plan of like to from extraterrestrial life to, you know what I mean, that kind of sparked this stuff, and increased the rate at which we learned, like, because like, can you imagine just not knowing, like living in a period and like you just walking like, oh, that flower, that mushroom looks good, I'm gonna eat it, I'm hungry, and then you die. Like you don't know what's in that mushroom, you don't know, like, you know what I mean, like how did, like, we've come so far of like, just it's truly fascinating. Every day, but I go, it's just literally a culmination of people living their lives and contributing some way, shape, or form, however big or small that is. And then hold on one second. Oh, we got our friends back. We're gonna go ahead and shell shock, knock, about to be shell shocked. Um, that it's just one little thing, and then over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, it just continues to just grow in every area of life. I'm fascinated all the time. I see a plane go by, I'm like, "Ah, man, truly fascinating the world that we live in. That we can go anywhere we want, we can communicate with whoever we want now." And but you imagine those early days, man, just absolute chaos. And that's why I say thank you. And the stuff that we have available to us, hell, die and be born a snake tomorrow. I don't know. And then everyone just thinks you're repulsive and tries to kill you. I'm like, life is pretty good when you look at it like that. I'm looking over the questions. With that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. We're at approaching about hour 25 for the Ryback show this week. And I thank you guys, as always, for all the love and support. And thank you for the super chats, for contributing to the show. With all that, make sure you guys check out my Feed Me More Nutrition. I'm wearing my Only Gains shirt. We've got all these shirts and sweaters are doing very well, along with the other accessories and merchandise on the website, as well as the best supplements on the planet and Feed Me More Nutrition. Premium supplements with no artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly for all people. You could save 20% with discount code RYBACKSHOW20 and get a free bottle of Brain Feed all this month. So add that to your cart when you make your order. You get a free bottle of Brain Feed, a $34.99 value, guys. Yours absolutely free for buying merchandise, supplements, whatever it is that you want to get. And you can save 20% on top of that as well with discount code RYBACKSHOW20. So take advantage of these huge deals with Feed Me More Nutrition. Sign up for my email and text message programs as well, guys. A great way to save and to get massive discounts each and every week with everything on Feed Me More Nutrition and the Ryback merchandise on that. All right, guys, let's have a good one. I'm deep into my fast, and I got to go get the shoulder worked on in a little bit and go get my afternoon coffee. So have a good one and enjoy the UFC fights if you're watching them tonight, guys. And until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. For the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.